Most people think about their finances twice a year. January 1st, when they make resolutions they rarely keep. And April, when they realize they owe taxes they were not expecting. Everything in between is financial autopilot. The same subscriptions renewing, the same contributions going out, the same habits running unchanged, whether they are working or not. Here is what that costs. Every year, millions of Americans miss contribution deadlines, leave employer matches unclaimed, overpay taxes they could have avoided, and hold investment allocations that no longer match their actual financial situation, simply because nobody told them to check. We are in the middle of 2026 right now. The December 31st deadline for most tax and retirement contribution decisions is exactly 6 months away, which means right now, not January, not April, is the single most valuable time of the year to review your finances. 6 months is enough time to fix almost anything. 6 months from now, you are either grateful you did this or wishing you had. In the next 10 minutes, we are going to cover 6 specific things to check right now. Not vague suggestions, but actual tasks with actual deadlines attached to them that could collectively save you thousands of dollars before December 31st. This is wealth clarity. Let's get into it. The first thing to check is whether you are on track to hit your retirement contribution targets for the year. For 2026, the 401k contribution limit is $24,500 if you are under 50 or $32,500 if you are 50 or older with the catch-up contribution included. The IRA contribution limit is $7,500 or $8,600 for those 50 and older. Here's the key action. Log into your 401k portal and check your year-to-date contributions. Divide by 6. That is how much you have contributed per month on average. Now multiply by 12. If that number is significantly below the annual limit, and your budget allows, this is the time to increase your contribution percentage for the second half of the year. This matters for 2 reasons. First, every dollar you contribute to a traditional 401k reduces your taxable income for this year. Contributing an extra $500 per month for 6 months reduces your taxable income by $3,000 before December 31st. Second, your employer matches free money that only flows when you contribute. If you are not contributing enough to capture the full match, every paycheck you are declining part of your compensation. December 31st is the absolute deadline for 401k salary deferrals. Unlike IRA contributions, which have until April 15th of the following year, 401k contributions must come from actual paychecks. Once December 31st passes, you cannot go back and contribute for the previous year. The second thing to check is your investment allocation, meaning the mix of stocks, bonds, and cash inside your accounts. Most people set an asset allocation when they first open their investment accounts and never revisit it. That might have been a reasonable 80% stocks and 20% bonds allocation 5 years ago. But markets do not sit still. After the strong stock market performance of 2024 and 2025, followed by the volatility of early 2026, many portfolios have drifted significantly from their intended allocations. If stocks have declined this year, as they have for many investors, a portfolio that started at 80% stocks might now be closer to 70%. If you set your allocation intentionally, this drift needs to be addressed through rebalancing. Rebalancing means selling assets that have grown to be too large a share of your portfolio and buying those that have shrunk, buying low and selling high automatically as a byproduct of maintaining your intended allocation. Most major brokerages have a rebalancing tool that shows you exactly how far your portfolio has drifted from its target. More importantly, is your allocation still appropriate for where you are in life? If you are 5 years closer to retirement than when you set your allocation, your risk tolerance may have changed. Mid-year is the ideal time to assess this while you have the second half of the year to make gradual adjustments. The third check is your emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account is the bedrock of financial security. It is the difference between surviving an unexpected income disruption and being forced to sell investments at the worst possible time. 2 things change your emergency fund adequacy, and most people never update for either one. The first is inflation. Your monthly expenses cost more than they did a year ago. If your emergency fund was calculated on last year's spending, it may now cover fewer months of actual expenses than you think. Recalculate what 3 months of your current expenses actually costs and compare it to your current emergency fund balance. The second is life changes. A new job, a pay increase, a new baby, a change in rent or mortgage, any of these changes your monthly expense baseline. If anything significant has changed in your life in the past 6 months, your emergency fund calculation needs to be updated. As of mid-2026, the best high-yield savings accounts are paying between 3 and 4% annually. If your emergency fund is sitting in a regular savings account paying near zero, moving it to a high-yield account today means your emergency fund is actively fighting inflation rather than losing to it. On a $20,000 emergency fund, the difference between 0% and 4% interest is $800 per year. The fourth check is one of the most overlooked mid-year opportunities: tax loss harvesting. With the S&P 500 down approximately 7% year-to-date and significant volatility across tech and growth stocks, many investors are sitting on unrealized losses in their taxable brokerage accounts right now. Unrealized means you have not sold yet. The position is showing a loss on paper, but you have not crystallized it. Here is the opportunity. You can sell those losing positions before December 31st to realize the loss. Use that loss to offset any capital gains you have elsewhere in your portfolio and deduct up to $3,000 of net losses against your ordinary income. Any excess losses carry forward to future years indefinitely. The important mechanic to remember is the wash sale rule. After selling a position at a loss, you cannot buy the same or a substantially identical investment within 30 days, or the loss is disallowed. The workaround is to immediately buy a similar but not identical fund. Selling a Vanguard S&P 500 ETF and immediately buying a Fidelity S&P 500 ETF keeps your market exposure while locking in the tax benefit. Checking your portfolio now, in mid-year, rather than waiting until December is important because December is when every investor is doing this simultaneously, and rushing tax decisions in the last days of the year leads to mistakes. Reviewing in June gives you time to be deliberate. The fifth check is insurance, specifically the 3 coverages most people set once and forget. Life insurance. If your income has increased, if you have had a child, or if your financial obligations have grown, your existing life insurance coverage may be insufficient. The general guideline is 10 to 12 times your annual income in coverage for people with dependents. If your circumstances have changed since you bought your policy, this gap needs to be reviewed. Disability insurance. This is the most underinsured risk in personal finance. You are statistically more likely to be unable to work due to illness or injury than you are to die during your working years. Yet most people have no disability insurance beyond whatever their employer provides. If you are self-employed or your employer coverage is minimal, mid-year is the time to price standalone disability coverage. Beneficiary designations. These designations on every financial account, 401k, RA, life insurance, bank accounts, override your will. If you set them when you were single and have since married, divorced, or had children, the wrong person may be legally entitled to your assets. This takes 10 minutes to review and can save your family years of legal complications. The sixth and final check is your employer benefits, specifically the ones with use it or lose it deadlines. Flexible spending accounts. If your employer offers a healthcare FSA and you have contributed to it, check your balance. FSA funds typically expire on December 31st or shortly after. Unused funds are forfeited permanently. Eligible expenses include things most people do not think about: prescription glasses, dental work, therapy, contact lenses, and many over-the-counter medications. Professional development and education benefits. Many employers offer education assistance up to $5,250 annually, tax-free, for qualifying educational expenses. If your employer has this benefit and you have not used it, there is still time in the second half of 2026 to enroll in a course or certification that qualifies. Unused vacation days. Some employers pay out unused vacation at year-end, while others simply expire them. If you have significant unused vacation that will not roll over, using it before December 31st is a compensation decision. not just a lifestyle one. Your employer benefits package is part of your total compensation. Every benefit you do not use is compensation you declined. A mid-year review of what is available and what you have used is one of the highest return financial activities available to any employed person. Here are the 6 things to review before December 31st. 1. Check your retirement contributions year to date and increase your 401k percentage if you have room. The December 31st salary deferral deadline is absolute. 2. Review your investment allocation and rebalance if your portfolio has drifted significantly from its intended mix. 3. Recalculate your emergency fund based on current expenses and move it to a high-yield savings account if it is not already there. 4. Scan your taxable brokerage accounts for unrealized losses and consider tax loss harvesting before December creates a rush. 5. Review your life insurance coverage, disability insurance, and beneficiary designations for any life changes in the past year. 6. Audit your employer benefits and make sure you are not leaving FSA balances, education assistance, or unused compensation on the table. None of these tasks take more than 20 minutes individually. All of them together represent potentially thousands of dollars in savings, contributions, and protection that disappears if you wait until January. December is too late to course correct. June is exactly right. If this video helped you see money management as something you do proactively rather than reactively, subscribe to Wealth Clarity. New videos every Wednesday and Saturday. YouTube will show you the perfect next video right on your screen. I will see you there.